What's up, friends? It's Chris Angel coming at you for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. That's right. Tonight we're talking about relationships, podcasting and relationships. And this is really important for us in business because most of your leads are not now leads, right? So I heard that years ago. Most of your leads are not now leads, which points to the importance of follow-up. Now, it's easy in business and marketing to focus on the front end of the funnel, the whole let's go find people, let's find people today who want to buy today. And most energy in marketing is spent there. Why? Because it's fun, it's exciting. It's not as fun and exciting to do long-term follow-up with people until they're ready to work with you. And here's the good news about podcasting. Podcasting actually does that. People come back to podcasting for the relationship, right? Every time I come back to a Robcast or Seth Godin's Akimbo podcast, I'm listening to these without necessarily knowing where they're going to go in the conversation, but I listen because I love what they say, no matter what they say. I just want to come along for the ride. It's like sitting down with them for a while and just being in their presence. I like that. And so they nurture me year after year, and I keep going. By the way, next week I'm going down to LA to go to Rob Bell's workshop. He has a something to say workshop. It's $750, and I'm going down to California. Why? Because I've been listening to Rob for a year and a half or two, and I'm like, now's the time. I want to go down there, and I want to spend time with Rob and about 100 others in a room. So, it took 2 years for me to pull the trigger and purchase something of Rob's besides a book. I mean, I bought a book a while back, but besides that, but here I go. This is it, 2 years in. And the only connection I've had with Rob since then has been his podcast. Now, I might not have pulled the trigger to go down to LA next week if I hadn't been inspired by the continual conversation that is Rob's show, the Robcast. So I'm here to tell you, you've done a lot of work to earn attention. You've done different things in marketing. You've done different things in networking to build relationship with people. And as you built relationship with people, if you're like most people, you haven't followed up well. Well, enter podcasting, right? Enter a podcast, because your podcast, if you can put it in front of those people and they listen, just like Rob somehow got his podcast in front of me, I now have a relationship with Rob that way. And you can have a relationship with them. And so I want you to picture this large amount of people that you've created influence with. And most of those people are not going to buy now, today. And so you need a way to nurture and foster that relationship with people over time so that they can choose. They can choose when to work with you. Just like I chose to go to LA next week, they get to choose when to hire you. But listen, the thing I like about the podcast for a follow-up strategy for your existing people, not necessarily new people, but existing people, is that you create the show once a week, for example. This is a daily show, but most podcasts are weekly shows. You create it once, and it can, and all sorts of people can listen to it over and over again, right? So maybe people that you find a week from now, a month from now, listen to your podcast, and then they go back and binge listen to other episodes. I'm just saying that there is power in you sharing your heart with the world through a podcast or a show. And it beats, to me, my background's real estate, right? So our follow-up in real estate was sending handwritten notes, doing follow-up calls after the notes, inviting you to open house party. It was so time intensive. It was so energy intensive. You creating a show is you creating it one time. And let's say these daily shows for me take me 12 to 15 minutes. And I've done enough of them that there's no prep time for me. The only prep time is sitting down and getting still for what do I want to say to you today. But life teaches me every day. And so I'm in the practice now, and I'm in the habit of easily grabbing lessons from life today and sharing them back with you so they serve you, right? So similarly for you, how easy to nurture your entire database of people with a show. It took you one time. And podcast listeners are amazing fans. Like they're amazing. The relationship that gets created there is way different and better than any handwritten note could create. Do you hear me? Like Rob Bell could not have created the relationship he's created with me through a handwritten note. Now I would have appreciated the handwritten note. Thank you, Rob, if he had sent that, but he didn't. And that's okay because I feel like I know him more and appreciate him more through following his show. So I'm just saying, like, listen, I think one of the most leveraged, effective, powerful ways to follow up with all the people you've worked so hard to meet and know and create influence with, the best way to follow up with them would be to have a show. So have a show. So what is my stance? I believe everybody should have a show because it is one of the deepest ways to build relationship at scale. If you'd like help learning how to do that, I have a 6-week program that teaches you exactly how to launch your own podcast, right? You can go to groundsmallmethod.com, watch the free videos, and on the last page of those free videos is an application for my upcoming program. My next program is March 2nd, right? So, right, today is like February 20th, I believe, at the time of this recording. March 2nd is the next 6-week program. So you have time to get your application in, and I would love nothing more than to help you create a show around your important work in the world so that you can foster the relationships of people you've worked so hard to meet and know. All right, gang, thanks for hanging out with me here tonight in this episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. Until tomorrow when we go live again, have a great night. Here's to you fostering relationships with all those you work so hard to meet.